live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Hello there and a very warm welcome to the news live from the National News Studios. I'm Sharifa Tahir and together with me on the bulletin tonight is Charita Minipura Arachi. And first off, we take a look at the headlines.
Central Bank Governor says signs of a positive economic outlook can be seen at present. Prices of essential commodities to reduce in the next couple of days. Paddy purchasing for yellow season begins. Government allocates 2,000 million rupees. Another shipment of 120,000 metric tons of crude oil to arrive in the country next week. 9 petitions filed in the Supreme Court against the 22nd Constitutional Amendment. Inter-University Students' Federation convener arrested. A blast at a mosque in Kabul. 21 have been killed.
Well, we now continue with those and other stories in detail. First off, we take a look at the top stories. Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe says a positive economic outlook has been created in the country at present.
He pointed out that the IMF negotiations are making good progress and IMF delegation is expected to reach the country by the end of August to reach the staff-level agreement on a policy package. And the central bank governor made these remarks during a media briefing held at the central bank today.
The IMF process is making a good progress. So, for example, now the IMF mission is planning to come here towards the end of the month with an intention to complete or reach the star-level agreement on the policy package that we are hoping that they will be here towards the end of the month, and then we should be able to finalize and reach the star-level agreement. So once you reach the star-level agreement, then we have to start approaching the creditors on debt restructuring with our advisors. That process will be making progress once we reach the star-level agreement. That is where I think we are almost completed and reached almost all the targets or whatever policies. We are hoping that we should be able to reach the star-level agreement. That will certainly improve the situation further once we reach that. Obviously, we will be reaching to all the creditors once we reach the overall debt targets and star-level agreement. Then only we will approach the creditors. So far, we are making the background work for us to share data, information, and looking at the scenarios. All these things we are doing some analysis, and on that basis, once we reach the agreement, then we will approaching the all bilateral and commercial creditors. But I think it's clearly what the president said was that the financial advisors are looking at the scenarios of any restructuring deficit. That was the president's statement. But the government, obviously, the state position still remains that we will restructure, or we intend to restructure only the external part, because there is a balance of payment crisis. So foreign exchange crisis, we need more time to repay the external debt. So that is obviously the reason. With regard to the domestic debt, obviously when we are reaching the creditors, they might ask what is the treatment for the domestic debt also. Then our position is that if we restructure domestic debt, then obviously that will have a serious implications on the domestic financial sector, including the banking sector. That will not help even the external creditors to recover whatever the relief that they are going to give us. In the medium term, if we are going to have a problem with the capitalization of banks and any issue with the banks, and that will not help the economy to recover in the medium term. So that is a win-win situation for everyone, that we need to basically minimize any impact on the domestic debt so that we can maintain the financial stability, so that the economy can recover faster and everyone can recover whatever the dues or relief that they are offering. Even external creditors can recover their liabilities faster than what they expect if we can recover the economy with a stable financial system. That's why our position remains that we want to minimize the impact on the domestic banking sector and domestic economy, EPF and insurance funds as a result of restructuring debt. Earlier projection was basically we thought economy would be contracted around 7.5%, and it looks like it will be little more than 7.5%, probably will exceed 8% this year, which means the contracting economy this year sharper means the recovery can be fast also in the next year. So then if we are going to have a sharp and negative growth this year means we should be able to recover from next month, next year onwards, especially from the second half. And also the other factor, uncertain factors are basically global prices, and also if we can maintain normal economic conditions like what we have now, the sectors like tourism can recover faster than what we expect. So there are outside, basically the outlook has some positive risk as well compared to negative risk. So we might see, these are all projections like we did last time, that we are making position now, and it can be changed. If we think things are turning around better than expected going forward, that can recover fast. It basically, as a result of this adjustment in electricity prices, that will reflect in short-term inflation. For example, in our projections, we think, if you look at the fan chart, I think probably it was shown here, is likely to peak somewhere in September, and then it will be trending down. That's our latest projections that you can see here. So this is projections have been adjusted downward compared to the projection that we had last time. So that's what we see. Still, there will be a gradual increase because of the electricity price adjustment has been also factored in our projections. No, right now it's 60%. It will remain basically a little higher than 60%. As I said earlier, projection indicated it will go about 70%. I don't think that will reach that level now, even with some of the adjustments. So that probably it will peak around 65 or even less than 65%, and then it will be trending down. That is if you look at the detail in the fan chart numbers, the midline of the fan chart indicates that it will be probably 60-65%, and then it will be trending down. The headline basically year-on-year inflation, then average inflation, all core inflation will be different. That's for debt restructuring process. The cabinet has given approval to appoint communication consultant and who's the other one, identification agent. That is, those are necessary to start debt restructuring process and approach the creditors. For that purpose, that cabinet has given approval. I think they are in the process of appointing those agents. This is what I already explained, that debt restructuring process, we will extend debt restructuring, that once we reach staff level agreement with the IMF, which will give us clear picture on the sustainability and the targets for us to achieve in next 10 years time, and also the program that we are going to present, overall macro fiscal program. So we need those two things, and with those two things we will approach our external creditors, including first part is the commercial creditors, international sovereign bond holders, next the Paris Club, including the Japan is a major partner in Paris Club, and also non-Paris Club members like China and India. All will be basically officially approached, and we'll present our overall macro program that has been endorsed by the IMF, and also the debt targets that we had to achieve going forward. So with those information, we'll start approaching all these different group of creditors, and then process will commence from there onwards with the assistance of, say, Lazard, the Clifford Chance, the legal advisors, as well as other agents that we are going to appoint to help us in this process. That is difficult to say now what are the challenges, but what we hope that all the creditors will be supporting Sri Lanka once they see the very strong macro program and structural reform plan that we are going to agree with the IMF, that is medium to long term structural reforms and economic policy adjustment program. So once we present this program, which is endorsed by the International Monetary Fund as an independent agency, there will be a lot of credibility in that program, and on that basis we will give them a commitment that we will be reaching certain debt targets. Once they see what we expect, that will be a very good credible program, and all the creditors will accept that, we will recognize that's a good recovery program, and on that basis they will be willing to, or they will be giving us the relief that we ask by all the creditors. That's what we expect.
Minister Nalin Fernando says the retail prices of essential commodities will definitely reduce in the next few days. He said that the inflow of essential commodities into the country have been normalized at present. Minister Nalin Fernando said that the Consumer Affairs Authority conducted negotiations with the eggs and poultry production companies and arrived at a new price range for the products. He said that if the companies are not willing to remain at the new price range, a new control price will be introduced as the next step. He also said that several public complaints have been received over several commodities including cement, metal and locally produced cables as well as confectionaries. Accordingly, the minister said that the relevant companies have been informed to submit a report to the Consumer Affairs Authority over the price rates. He added that the main cause for the price hike was a shortage of US dollars to import essential commodities. However, he said that the inflow of commodities into the country has been normalized. He said that several days will be taken to reduce the prices of the commodities. He added that the retail prices of essential commodities will definitely reduce in the next few days.
The Ministry of Power and Energy says the imported crude oil shipment arrived in the country on last 13th. It's currently in process of being unloaded. The shipment was consisted of 100,000 metric tons of crude oil. The process of unloading the shipment was scheduled to commence today following the quality sampling. Accordingly, the Ministry of Power and Energy has indicated that the Sapugaskanda oil refinery will resume operations this week. In addition, another tanker carrying 120,000 metric tons of crude oil is scheduled to arrive in the island between the August 23rd and 29th. Both shipments are purchased through a Russian company. Minister Douglas Devananda said that steps will be taken to facilitate sufficient supplies of fuel including kerosene in the next week. Also, the minister said that measures are also being taken to prepare a system to supply fuel for fisheries community through the private sector. A complaint has been lodged with the Criminal Investigation Department to investigate the activities related to the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation and Ceylon Petroleum Storage Terminals Limited. The relevant complaint has been lodged by Minister Kanchana Wijesekara. In a tweet message, the minister said that the CID has been requested to investigate fuel procurement, evaluation and proposals, non-placement of orders, selection of suppliers, delays in payments, distribution irregularities and allegations made by the individuals. Sri Lanka Navy has arrested 1,429 litres of petrol hidden in a lorry which was travelling from Chilau to Kalpitia. The relevant discovery was made this morning in Dalwa Narachole area. The two suspects arrested by Sri Lanka Navy have been identified as residents in Chilau area. Further investigations are conducted by Narachole police. The Love Gas Company has decided to reduce the domestic gas price. Accordingly, the price of 12.5 kg Love gas cylinder has been reduced by 1,050 rupees and the new price is 5,800 rupees. The 5 kg gas cylinder has been reduced by 420 rupees and the new price is 2,320 rupees. Meanwhile, the new price of a 2 kg gas cylinder is 928 rupees. Minister Wijesekara in a tweet said that a meeting was held with the CEB Senior Engineer Union to discuss the restructuring plans. He said that the union pledged their commitment to reform and renewable energy plans, gave their proposals and requested to expedite them. The Senior Engineers Union supported the last CEB Act amendment as well, he added.
The government program to purchase paddy harvests of the yellow season commenced today. Chairman of the Paddy Marketing Board, Neil Dialvi, said that 55 out of 357 storage warehouses in 24 districts will remain open for the paddy purchasing process. A kilogram of Kiri Samba paddy will be purchased at a rate of 130 rupees. The Paddy Purchasing Board has indicated that a kilogram of Samba paddy will be purchased at a rate of 125 rupees and a kilogram of Nadu paddy will be purchased at a certified rate of 120 rupees. The current market rate for paddy is below 100 rupees at present. Therefore, the Ministry of Agriculture said that this step was taken to prevent purchasing of harvests of farmers at lower rates. The Minister of Agriculture has instructed the Paddy Marketing Board Chairman that no shortcomings should occur in the paddy purchasing process. The paddy harvesting for the yellow season in many districts has been completed at present. Accordingly, storage warehouses in northwestern, eastern, north central provinces and Kidinochi, Mullaitivu, Vavuniya and Matale districts have been opened from today for paddy purchasing. The paddy purchasing in other areas will commence following the completion of the harvesting process. The government has allocated 2,000 million rupees for the paddy purchasing program. Meanwhile, Agriculture Department and experts in agriculture sector have recommended the use of 70% chemical fertilizer and 30% of organic fertilizer for the paddy cultivation in the upcoming Maha season. Accordingly, a 50 kilogram fertilizer pack will be provided at a rate of 10,000 rupees in the next season. Minister Mahinda Awarira said that 125 kilograms of urea will be provided per hectare. The minister said that the government has directed attention to provide a subsidy worth 20,000 rupees for the farmers to purchase organic fertilizer for paddy cultivation. High Commissioner of Pakistan in Colombo, retired Major General Umar Farooq Burki, called on Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena today.
And the meeting was held at the Prime Minister's office in Colombo. During the meeting, the Pakistan High Commissioner affirmed Pakistan's cooperation towards Sri Lanka as a strong long-term friend of the nation. The Prime Minister extended his gratitude to Pakistan for taking a stance in international platforms to safeguard the sovereignty of Sri Lanka. The Pakistan High Commissioner and the Prime Minister exchanged views lengthily over the potential to prolong the bilateral relations on the sectors including commerce, investments, education, technology, tourism, and animal husbandry and dairy production centers. The Prime Minister requested the Pakistan High Commissioner to provide necessary facilities for the Sri Lankan Buddhist devotees to engage in pilgrims in Pakistan. Secretary to the Prime Minister Anuradha Dissanayake was present at this occasion. Meanwhile, Cuban ambassador in Colombo, Andres Marcelo Gonzalez Gadrio, has called on Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, the Prime Minister's office today. The Prime Minister said that they will commit towards further strengthening the cooperation and friendship between both the nations. The Prime Minister emphasized the need to exchange new innovations in the agricultural sector between the two countries. Expressing his pleasure over the successful experiments at the Coconut Research Center in Sri Lanka, the Cuban ambassador said that measures will be taken to acquire coconut plants to cultivate in their country. The ambassador also said that the opportunity prevails to improve cooperation on sectors such as production, animal husbandry in Sri Lanka. The ambassador extended his gratitude to the Prime Minister for the services rendered to the strengthening of the friendship between the countries by assuming the chairmanship of the Cuba-Sri Lanka Friendship Association until recently.
9 petitions have been filed with the Supreme Court to issue an order citing that several sections of the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution presented by the government is in violation of the Constitution. The Attorney General has been named as the respondent. General Secretary of Vinivida Peramuna, Nagananda Kodituaku, Dr. Gunadasa Amarasekara and 7 others from the public had filed the petitions. The petitioners have indicated that several sections of the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution presented by the government is in violation of the Constitution. Accordingly, they have pointed out that these sections violate the fundamental rights ensured through the Constitution. Therefore, the petitioners have requested the Supreme Court to issue an order citing that a 2/3 majority and a referendum are required to approve the relevant sections of the constitutional amendment. Convener of Inter-University Students Federation, Vasantha Mudalige, on whom an arrest warrant was issued earlier, was taken into custody along with a group of individuals. Today, the arrest was made during a protest march held in Colombo this evening.
The Inter-University Students Federation commenced a protest march from Town Hall, Colombo this afternoon. The police informed the protesters near the Lipton roundabout to not enact in a manner which would disrupt the public harmony. However, the protesters marched towards Union Place and the police with an anti-riot squad of the police took measures to disperse the crowds. The arrests were made by the police after dispersing the protesters. And meanwhile, the United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework 2023-2027 was launched by the government of Sri Lanka and the United Nations in Sri Lanka.
The framework was co-signed by Secretary to the Treasury Mahinda Siriwardena and UN Resident Coordinator in Sri Lanka Hanasinghe Hamdi. The signing ceremony hosted at the Ministry of Finance was also attended by the Secretary to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Aruni Vijayawardena and the Regional Director for Asia and the Pacific of the UN Development Coordination Office David McLaughlin Carr. Heads of UN agencies, funds and programs in Sri Lanka also signed the Cooperation Framework. The United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework guides the work of all the UN agencies in Sri Lanka and articulates the collective vision and contribution of the United Nations to support Sri Lanka to accelerate actions towards the achievement of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The cooperation framework gives primacy to accelerating actions to ensure a rapid recovery from the economic crisis, along with the impact of COVID-19, prioritizes support to revitalize the economy and economic activity, social services, decent employment, social cohesion, and health and well-being for all people in Sri Lanka. The UNSDCF will be funded through core budget allocations of an estimated $60 million in addition to approximately $325 million through other resources spread across the 5-year period of implementation.
Regional Director for Asia Pacific from the United Nations Development Coordination Office, David McRanka, has called on Minister Ali Sabri yesterday. The UNDCO Regional Director in a tweet said that the discussions held on the 5-year UN Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework for Sri Lanka 2023-2027, supporting transformational changes taking place in the country. The UN Resident Coordinator Hana Singh Hamdi also in a tweet said that the meeting efforts of the United Nations in Sri Lanka to coordinate multi-sectoral support to address challenges in Sri Lanka and relevant humanitarian crises were taken up for discussion. He said that the UN agencies have raised $37.6 million in funding thus far. In another tweet, he said that the UNDCO Regional Director also met with the opposition leader Sajid Premadasa for talks on the economic, peace and development concerns facing Sri Lanka and way forward to ensure stability and recover from the crisis. And the chairman of the Elections Commission, Attorney at Law Nimal Punchiheva, says the authority to decide on the conducting of provincial council elections after September 20th is vested with the Elections Commission.
He made these remarks during a media briefing held today. Chairman of Election Commission, Attorney at Law Nimal Punchiheva, said that the provincial council elections has been postponed by 1 year. He said that the Commission is not in agreement over the postponement of the elections. He said that the election has been postponed until March next year. He added that the Commission will be vested with authority under the Provincial Council Act to enforce an election 6 months before the stipulated election period. Accordingly, he said that the Commission will have the authority to take a decision in this regard after the 20th of September. In the meantime, the Ministry of Urban Development and Housing has directed attention to reimburse the damages caused to the golfers green from the Aragalaya protesters.
Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said that necessary legal measures will be taken in this regard. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said that the UDA will prepare an estimate over the damages and inform the courts in this regard. He said that the government funds and public funds have been utilized for the development processes. He pointed out that the redevelopments will be subjected to audits. Therefore, legal action should be taken through a complaint in this regard, he added. The minister said that the UDA has also been given relevant instructions over this issue. And meanwhile, a special ceremony was organized by the Pakistan High Commissioner to award Jinnah scholarships for A-level students of Sri Lanka.
The event was held last Tuesday at the BMICH. The ceremony was held in continuation of the 76th Independence Day of Pakistan. Scholarships have been awarded by the government of Pakistan to aspiring Sri Lankan advanced level and ordinary level students since 2006. Over 2,300 Sri Lankan students have benefited from this program, which is named after Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founding father of Pakistan. The occasion was graced by Minister Sushil Premajanta as a chief guest. The event was organized under the guidance of High Commissioner of Pakistan in Colombo, retired Major General Umar Farooq Burki. He stated in his welcome remarks that Pakistan has been a proud partner of Sri Lanka in enhancing the capabilities of youth with better educational opportunities. He emphasized upon the importance of the bilateral relationship both the countries enjoy and the fact that Pakistan aims at strengthening these strong ties manifolds. Minister Sushil Premajanta appreciated this gracious gesture from the government and the people of Pakistan. Ambassador Mizukoshi Hideaki signed an exchange of note for grant assistance to provide 500 million yen worth of modern Japanese medical equipment to Sri Jawaharlal General Hospital.
The donation was made in order to strengthen the hospital capabilities to combat non-communicable diseases and to enhance social and humanitarian developments in the country. Japan is expected to provide latest equipment such as CT angiography, catheter surgical equipment, transplantation devices, ophthalmology equipment, as well as re-establishing the new dental ward to enhance treatment and surgical capabilities for NCTs while reducing the rate of blindness and caries in Sri Lanka. The assistance from Japan expected to improve diagnosis and treatments of NCDs, help to reduce related mortality and incidents in Sri Lanka, especially in the western province. The statement issued by the Japanese embassy has indicated that the Sri Jawaharlal General Hospital will become another landmark to resident close bilateral relationships, marking the 70th anniversary of the diplomatic relationships between Japan and Sri Lanka. The statement has further indicated that Japan will remain committed to help overcome this economic crisis together as long-standing development partner of Sri Lanka. And meanwhile, the Criminal Investigations Department arrested former Minister Mervyn Silva today.
He was arrested in connection with an incident which occurred in 2007 where the former minister forcibly entered into Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. Former Minister Mervyn Silva was taken into custody under several charges including unlawful gatherings. Subsequently, he was produced before the Colombo Additional Magistrate. The CID informed that the relevant investigation reports have been submitted to the Attorney General regarding the incident which occurred on December 27, 2007. Accordingly, CID informed the court that the Attorney General's Department directed instructions to name the former minister as a suspect and proceed with the arrest. Attorneys representing the former minister said that the charges levelled against him are bailable offences. Accordingly, the magistrate released the suspect without bail and requested him to appear for the hearing on November 16th.
Now let's take a look at more local news items in brief. Ratcharakina Jana Power Organization has filed a complaint with the Human Rights Commission. The relevant complaint has been made over the human rights violation pertaining to former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Sri Lanka Association of Origin US organization has donated essential medical stocks worth $625,000 to Sri Lanka. Minister K.L. Ramukwella and representatives of the organization were present at this occasion. Steps have been taken to expand passenger terminal facilities at the Colombo port. Minister Nimal Siripal Silva directed instructions to the other officers attached to the Sri Lanka Ports Authority in this regard recently. The minister also engaged in an observational tour at the terminal in this occasion. Stay tuned for international news after this break.
කොළඹදී විශ්වාසයෙන් ට්‍රීට් කරන්න. Prima Treats. Life is a treat.
Well, we move on to international news now. A huge explosion has ripped through a crowded mosque in the Afghan capital, Kabul, killing 21 people, police say.
And another 33 people were injured in Kabul, police spokesman said. Yesterday's blast occurred during evening prayers. The mosque's imam is reported to be among the dead. It is unclear who was behind the attack a week after an Islamic State militants killed a pro-Taliban cleric in a suicide bomb blast also in Kabul. Security forces have now sailed at the blast scene in Kabul. Witness described hearing a powerful explosion which shattered windows in the nearby buildings.
Terima Kutumi Pantan.
Well, we now move on to some sports news updates. A ceremony to felicitate Netmi Ahimsa, who secured a bronze medal in wrestling at the 22nd Commonwealth Games, was held yesterday. The ceremony was held at her school, which is Sri Shangaratna Mahavidyalaya in Pannada.
Suranga Kumara, the coach of young medal-winning wrestler Nitmi Ahimsa, was also present at this occasion. Chamodya Keshani and Nipuni Vasana, who was also participated in the Commonwealth Games, were felicitated during the event. Principal of the school, R.M. Arunashanta, and other dignitaries also took part in the ceremony. The Sri Lankan contingent taking part in the world's leading tennis championship Billie Jean King Cup is set to leave the country tomorrow. The tournament will take place from the August 22nd until the 27th in Tajikistan. Sri Lankan players Angelika Kurera, Janali Manamperi, Nehara Viravansa, Hansali Kajuba and Rukshila Vijayasuriya, along with the coach Kanja Vijayasekara, also taking part in the tournament.
Terima Kotomi Pantan.
And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. Together with Charita, I'm Sharifa, wishing you a very pleasant night.
Good night.